Hello everybody, my name is Erik. I've been a type 1 diabetic for 10 years now, and today we're going to discuss how I treat low blood sugar and a few pointers on what you can do to improve how you handle a low blood sugar. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, I'm just sharing my experiences as type 1 diabetic with you. Always consult your doctor before you're making any significant changes to your diabetes treatment routine. Before we start with how I treat my low blood sugar, I'm first going to discuss what is a low blood sugar and where does it come from, what's the reasons behind it. First of all, low blood sugar, also referred to as hypoglycemia, just means that your blood sugar is below 4 millimoles per liter or below 70 milligrams per deciliter. The symptoms of a low blood sugar would be paleness, shakiness, dizziness, sweating, hunger or nausea, irregular or fast heart rate, confusion or fatigue. Now, why would you get a low blood sugar? You'd get a low blood sugar for injecting too much insulin, not eating what you injected for. It could also be because you're burning a lot of energy for the last day or two, which in turn means your body is using more energy to recover, which then in turn drops your blood sugar. So the reason for making this video is because the other day I was house sitting. I over-injected for a correction because my blood sugar was high and my blood sugar dropped, and I started panicking, but I went to the kitchen and I started raiding the cupboards. I'm always looking for peanut butter and bread to make myself a sandwich, but there was no peanut butter in the house. I found a glass jar with sweets in it. It was about half the jar and I ate all of it and finally felt better. I was sweating so bad that I had to jump in the shower before hopping back in bed because I was so sweaty. You just feel terrible, you're confused, you can't think straight. And finally got back in bed. The next morning I woke up with the biggest hypo I've had in a few months now. Unreadable by my sensor, and that took me a full 6 hours to get back under control. And just because I didn't inject for what I ate because of my hypoglycemia, now my blood sugar was extremely high, and that's of course unhealthy. So I'm trying to share my experience on how I handle the situation and how I believe I should handle the situation next time. My process when my blood sugar gets low. So usually when my blood sugar goes low, I have a few steps that I follow. First of all, I notify somebody that knows that I have the condition and knows what to do if in case I go unconscious and I'm not aware of what's going on around me. Second of all, I start eating, and it's important to choose what you eat very carefully. Eating too many sweets will jump your sugar extremely quickly, extremely high, and then controlling it after that would make it extremely difficult. So choosing what you eat is priority. For me, peanut butter and bread sandwich. After you eat, it is very important to inject for what you ate, but don't inject too early. If you inject too early, your blood sugar is going to stay low without going up, and you're just going to have to eat more, which makes it more volatile to control the sugar when you get out of your hypoglycemia. So usually I wait about 5 to 10 minutes after I ate until I start feeling better and I can see on my CGM graph that my blood sugar has stabilized now and it's starting to go up. Then I inject for whatever I have ate, and after that you really need to monitor it. The next step is to monitor your blood sugar. When your blood sugar goes low, in a type 1 diabetic, what happens when we go low, our liver releases glycogen into the bloodstream, which is basically sugar very concentrated. It's very difficult to control glycogen when it enters the bloodstream. The next step, if I couldn't pick up my blood sugar by this point, is glycogen. Now, I've already notified somebody that my blood sugar is low. They know how to use a glycogen injection. This is my glycogen. I've never had to use it, thank goodness. But if somebody needs to inject you with glycogen, you can't inject it yourself. Somebody else has to administer it for you. It's only for when you go unconscious or you're not aware of what's going on around you. If you do use glycogen, there's a few tips that I have regarding to how to handle hypoglycemia. That's just part of daily life that I use every day for in case something goes wrong. Number one, I always share my location with somebody that knows that I have diabetes. For me, we use Life 360 in our family. Everybody can see where everybody is. If my sugar goes low, I just send SOS to my mother and she will immediately get somebody. If she's not close, she will immediately send somebody to aid me, or she will immediately call 911 and send emergency services to assist me. Tip number 2, and this one is very important: slow down. I panicked the other night and I didn't need to. I had it under control even though I couldn't think straight. Instinct kicked in and I knew I had to eat. That's all I had to do. Slow down, think straight, and concentrate as best you can. I know it's difficult, but concentrate as best you can on recovering from your hypoglycemia. Think straight, have a process. This tip is to avoid the aftermath after hypoglycemia. Don't overdo it. in terms of don't overeat. Don't eat too much, because then your volatility when it comes to your blood sugar, in terms of the range after your blood sugar goes low, is extremely high, extremely difficult to control it. And you might even forget what you ate and you don't inject for it, and now you have to treat a hyperglycemia. This next step falls under the previous one. It is track what you eat. In terms of A, know what you ate to treat your hyperglycemia, and 2, don't eat foods that are irregularly sugary. Just stick to something that has a good concentration between carbs and fats, just to regulate the speed at which the carbs enter your bloodstream and send your blood sugar up again, because the insulin has a delay and it will take time to react. And this last tip again falls under the previous tip. Avoid irregular foods. Use foods that you know what it does to your blood sugar, and once again, don't eat too many carb saturated foods. Have some fats in it. This will definitely help you control the blood sugar after it has gone low and help you bring it up stably. Guys, that's everything from my side. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.